Hello and welcome to this special edition of Credible Talks. We do this conversation with eminent people from the communications industry, and we have today with us Dr. Edna Ayme-Yahil from SITA. She is the communications head, brand and sustainability at the company, and she joins us from Switzerland today. She's also the member of the grand jury that we have put together from across the countries for the Incredibles this year, and we're really happy that we have you on board, Dr. Edna, for this. And first of all, thank you so much for taking out time, and also thank you so much for being part of the jury at the Incredibles.
Well, Shuja, it's really an honor to be able to collaborate with you on this really exciting project on influencers, and it's fun to be able to work across continents through the magic of streaming technology. So nice to see you this morning.
Thanks a lot. Let me begin by asking you about this industry in itself, the influencers and the marketing campaigns. What's your perspective on this industry?
Well, Shuja, it's a really complex and big question. As we know, the influencer, the market, if you will, has grown more and more influential, right? For me, I'm in my mid 40s, so I've been working in the industry for 2 decades now, and I come from if you will, a school where media was earned, not paid for, right? And it's been a big change, but it's been a change that I think is for the better, because what's happening now is that you have people around the world who are not necessarily experts or professionals, but are really passionate either about topics or about brands. And when done well, they can really give a realistic and authentic and credible, if you will, experience and explain really what they like, what they don't like about the brand, and get really deep into the technicality. Now, there are pluses and minuses, and I'm sure we'll discuss them. But overall, influencers are here to stay. They're fun to work with, but it's really changed the profession, at least from someone working within the corporate communications space.
A lot of people are saying that this could be either the next big thing in the marketing industry, or maybe just a bubble that we've seen with this emergence of digital storytelling in past few years. As a communications leader, do you think that it's just a bubble, or do you think there's an immense potential that this can be, as an industry, or the space, the influencer space, can be utilized to tell stories of the brands in a much better way?
I think that the level of personalization and specialization that we have in brands and the relationship with the consumer is something that is here to stay. And the influencers obviously play a very key role there, right? And I think that one of the things that, when done well, is that there's authenticity in what the influencer is saying. And I prefer to hear from someone who I can relate to better than to have sort of a mass marketing approach, right? So I, for example, and I'm not talking about in my professional life, I'm talking about my personal life, I follow 2 types of influencers, right? So one is, I love looking at makeup vlogs, and I follow several influencers who work with in the beauty space, and it's really just a way of relaxing, of having fun, of seeing people who are passionate about things that I'm interested in, and getting feedback, which is different than going to my Sephora or Macy's and trying something on. The second thing that I'm really interested in is what they would call sort of natural women who try on clothes. So basically, instead of going to the Gap or even having personalized advertising from the Gap or Banana Republic or Dior, whatever level you're buying in, come to you, it's to see people who have similar body shapes to you, similar concerns, maybe aren't 20 years old, and see how they look in clothes that you might want to buy. So those are sort of my two, personal forays, if you will, into the influencer marketing. On the professional level, I work in the airline industry, and it's a bit different because SITA it provides communication and IT services to airlines, airports, and the industry. And so we are a B2B business. So when we work with influencers in my team, it tends to be people who are really specific in the airline industry, and often it's a way of working on a more technical story, which then gets picked up by trade media. And so it's a different sort of relationship. It's not that personal level that you would have with a consumer brand.
Right. I mean, you've been, Edna, you've been part of so many networks, at least the communications networks in Europe. I'm sure you have friends across India and Southeast Asia as well. In this region, to be precise, in India, what's your perspective on the kind of work that is being done in communications, or to be precise, in the influencer marketing space?
So let me just say that I have a long-term relationship with India. I actually lived in India when I was 16 years old for a year in Thane, which is near Mumbai. So it's a country that I've known for many years and feel really passionate about. I've been on lots of juries so far, primarily in North America and in Europe. This is my first time working in India, so it's really exciting for me. I think the space for influencers in India is huge. It's creative. There is a lot of celebrity influencers that I'm not as familiar with, and I'm looking forward to learn more about. But I think that, as with any jury that you serve on, you're bringing your expertise in terms of how you judge the various selections, but you also learn, you see best practice, you learn from the creativity. So I think it's really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
Lovely. We're also very excited to have you on board, and that takes me to the next question. You are part of this award event, and this is for the first time also in India. We're doing something like an exercise where we're bringing people from outside the country to judge the entries that have happened or the campaigns that have happened in India. As part of an exercise like this, that you will get to see the entries that perhaps are different from what you have seen so far. How do you see this idea as a whole?
Well, as I said, I mean, it's wonderful to see the diversity of India. And when we speak of India, we're speaking about a huge country with many different states, and I'm sure that even within India, there's a diversity in the approach. Look, I think when you're looking at campaigns of any type, influencer campaigns or other marketing campaigns, what are you looking at? You're looking at, are there clear objectives that were set? What are the tangible results that were given through the campaign? And then, other aspects such as I mentioned before, authenticity is key, and also creativity. What's new, what's different, how is this not the same as everyone else? And having served on juries for quite a few years now, there's always one or two that just pop out, right? And that's where the excitement comes. And in the past, I've been in juries in Europe where we're sitting in the room, and you can even feel it, amongst the jury members. After you sit there for 2 days looking at submission after submission, and all of a sudden, the 30th one just pops out, and that's the one. So I'm sure that there's a lot of creativity in this group, and I'm just waiting to discover it.
That's brilliant. One last question from you would be an advice that we will seek from you to those who are sending in their entries or are looking into filling those entries. What is it that, as a jury, that a few tips that you would want to give out?
Okay, so first of all, make sure that you're really clear on the objective and the impact of the campaign, because that's critical. And then make sure that you really give enough information so that the jury is really able to understand what you're trying to do, but don't kill them with a too long submission. So it's really a fine line. But in any case, go for it. I think we're going to have a lot of possibilities. And Shuja, this is just the first year, right? We're going to have to do this in subsequent years. So I'm sure it's going to get better and better.
Absolutely. I would also want to ask you this before we, let you go, and we've taken a lot of your time already. As a jury, would you also, it doesn't matter who wins and who, of course, that matters, who are the winners. And but when you look at these campaigns, would there be a possibility for a feedback to some of them, at least for their own understanding, or maybe bettering their campaigns from next on?
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely possible, and I would be more than happy to do so.
That's brilliant and excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Edna, for taking our time with this conversation. We really look forward to a lot of interactions with you, because that's where all the learning comes, right?
Great. Thank you, Shuja. And thanks, everyone. And I look forward to seeing your entries.
Thank you so much.